Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for being here today, live and online. My name is Ian Walker. I have the privilege of being the nomination chair for Calgary Elbow and for calling this meeting formally to order. Before we get started, I would like to invite Kira Bradley, one of our board members, up to do our Aboriginal land acknowledgement. Thank you.
So we are standing on the traditional territories of Indigenous people. The riding of Calgary Elbow is on Treaty 7 territory, and the Blackfoot name for Calgary, Mokinsis, literally means elbow. In the spirit of respect and reconciliation, we acknowledge that we live on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy with the Kainai, Piikani, and Siksika, as well as the Tsuut'ina Nation and Stoney Nakoda Nation. This territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge the many Indigenous peoples who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations, and we are grateful for the knowledge and presence of those on whose territory we reside or are visiting today.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here and for finding time to join our Calgary Elbow NDP Constituency Association as we welcome our brand new Calgary Elbow NDP candidate. I'm not new to Calgary Elbow, nor to the Alberta NDP, but I'm quite new to my role as president. And I've been so delighted and heartened to talk to so many great people in our riding who are ready to really put their shoulders to the wheel and turn our new NDP candidate into our new Calgary Elbow NDP MLA in 2023. Yes! And quite honestly, failure is not an option. Not for me and not for many of you. I've heard that from many of you. I've never been more concerned or alarmed about the direction of our Alberta government, and I know that's true for many of you, and I know that's true for Samir Kayande. Our Constituency Association membership includes a lot of people who have no time to spare. People who are working hard jobs, many of them in the besieged healthcare and education sectors. Lots of people who are looking for work in this incredibly difficult moment. People raising kids, volunteering, going to school. People for whom scaring up time means giving up sleep. But they are nevertheless asking, what can I do? And we're asking each other this because we've endured a couple hard years of this UCP government. We've seen how destructive and dishonest it is, and we know how much is at stake. I know people are joining us today because they are longtime NDP supporters, and the NDP has always stood up for their values. Thank you. We're also joined by people who perhaps didn't realize until quite recently that the NDP stands up for their values. Values like respecting the common good, funding and defending public institutions and services for all Albertans, being good stewards of the land, watersheds, and wilderness that we are so lucky to have in Alberta, championing fairness, and just being good neighbors who care about each other and are concerned about the vulnerable. Thank you for being here. Whatever brought you here today, we are very lucky to have you. Whatever you've got to offer us, we're going to need. Of course, we need you to vote for Samir. We need you to get your neighbors to vote for Samir. We need you to have difficult conversations about things that you're noticing that maybe other people are not seeing, and get those people to vote for Samir. If you can spare time, we'll be grateful for it. Money, always. Whatever you can contribute to electing our candidate and getting us a government that serves all Albertans is what we need. Outrage and despair may have brought you here, but hope and teamwork are going to get us out of here. We want to meet everyone who wants to help. Samir is keen to hit the streets. He's going out tomorrow. Send us put it in the live chat 11 to 1 if you want to march with Samir in the streets tomorrow. On March 19th, we want everyone to come and meet us. There will be information about that, but we're going to go door knocking from 2 to 4. We're going to meet whoever wants to help from 4 to 6. Nice. You can find information about that in the chat. You can always look at our Calgary Elbow NDP Facebook page. It's our intention to run Samir ragged. To crib from Winston Churchill, we shall door knock in every neighborhood. Yeah. We shall get him to every stampede breakfast and community event. We shall campaign on the phones and in the streets.
We will never surrender.
We shall campaign in the hills and we shall never surrender. We've got 14 months toward the future we want and to elect the candidate we need. So eyes on 2023. Let's get to work painting Calgary Elbow orange.
Yeah.
Together. Thank you.
No problem. Introduction of guest speaker. I can do it.
Well, good evening.
Hello.
My name is David Shepherd, the MLA for Edmonton City Centre, and the official opposition critic for health. It is an incredible, thank you. It is always an honor to be here in Calgary on the traditional territory of Treaty 7, land also of great significance to the Métis people of Alberta, but it is a particular honor to be here tonight with the Calgary Elbow NDP to nominate Samir Kayande as the candidate for the Alberta NDP here in Calgary Elbow. Over the last 2 years, I know it's been incredibly difficult for Albertans as we've lived through this COVID-19 pandemic, and we've seen firsthand just how much, in the midst of a crisis, the decisions made by those we elect affect our lives. As of last Friday, we've lost 3,946 Albertans to COVID-19. Thousands of others are left living, potentially for the rest of their lives, with ongoing, sometimes debilitating symptoms of long COVID. Thousands and thousands more have had life-changing surgeries canceled, and on every one of those fronts, I firmly believe that those outcomes have been made worse by the utter mishandling of this pandemic by Jason Kenney and the UCP. Time and again, Jason Kenney, his ministers, his MLAs have chosen to put their ideology, their political interests ahead of public health and the public good. Wave after wave, they have dragged their feet, mired in their own political drama, acted last and acted least to curb the spread of COVID-19. They pushed our healthcare system to the limits. Even as they went to war with doctors, nurses, and other frontline healthcare workers, the very healthcare heroes working to save our lives and protect the health of us all. Indeed, no government in the history of this province has done more damage to our public healthcare system than Jason Kenney and the UCP.
Yes.
And now, sadly, Albertans are left to pay the price. Thanks to the UCP, thousands and thousands of Albertans do not have access to a family doctor. Many are left facing serious impacts to their health due to a loss of access to care. Ambulance wait times have skyrocketed, leaving Calgary with more red alerts than has ever been seen before. And wait times for surgery are longer than ever. The UCP think forcing more private profit into our public health care system is going to undo the damage they've done. We know that isn't going to work. Every dollar that goes to pad the pockets of private profit is a dollar that doesn't go to providing patient care. And this UCP government has already done so much else to make life more unaffordable and difficult for Albertans. Under the UCP, Albertans pay more school fees, more tuition, more insurance, utilities, taxes, even more fees to simply go camping, to visit the Kananaskis. Simply put, Albertans cannot trust the UCP. But we can ensure that Alberta has a brighter future with this upcoming provincial election. We have a tested and true leader with Rachel Notley. Yeah. And across the province, more and more Albertans, leaders in their professions and communities, are stepping up to join her in fighting for change, leaders like Samir. I was new to the Alberta NDP when I stepped up in 2015. I've had the honor and the pleasure of serving with Rachel as our premier and as an incredible leader of the opposition. I know how important this work is. I know how difficult and challenging this work can be. but I know the difference this can make in the lives of Albertans, and I am so proud of Samir for making this decision to step up and join us in this fight for 2023. Because we can work together to build an Alberta where no one is left behind. We can build a strong, diversified economy. And Alberta's NDP, we are proud and looking forward to welcoming Samir as part of that journey and getting that work done for Albertans.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kira Bradley, and I'm the youth representative of the Calgary Elbow Constituency Association. It's my pleasure to now introduce you to the person we hope to see become the next MLA for Calgary Elbow in 2023, Samir Kayande. He has quite the personal and professional resume, and I hope to do him justice by summarizing a few of the highlights. Samir was born in Fort McMurray to new Canadian parents originally from India, and who we are lucky to have with us tonight. He spent much of his childhood in Edmonton and attended the University of Alberta, where he received a first degree in chemical engineering. And through what he calls luck, but I'm sure involved a great deal of skill, he found a job in Calgary in the mid-90s during a massive economic bust, when many of his fellow Albertans struggled to find jobs and ended up moving elsewhere to make a living. After a few years working in Alberta as an engineer involved in building refineries, Samir found himself more interested in how decisions were made about the projects he was assigned to do, and found himself wondering what made them decide to build that refinery and why they chose that project to spend their money on. He noticed opportunities were growing in the tech industry in the US and decided to attend Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh for an MBA. Carnegie was where he also met his wife, JJ, who is from California and was also studying for an MBA. And she's also here with us. They moved to New Orleans for work and had 2 children, Nina, who's now 15, and Anand, who's 11, before moving back to Calgary. Samir then found work analyzing oil and gas opportunities for institutional investors, which is where he spent most of his career. In 2015, when the price of oil collapsed again, there was dwindling interest in investing in the oil and gas industry, and the company Samir worked for found itself at a crossroads. They decided to transition their focus from providing advice and publishing research into creating a tech company that would harness the expertise and analytical skills of its employees to provide that information to clients themselves at scale on demand. The transition was very successful, and the 50-person local Calgary company became a billion-dollar worldwide business with 300 to 400 staff around the globe at the time it was sold in February 2020. The end of Samir's time with RS Energy came at a time when Alberta's political situation was rapidly changing, with the COVID-19 pandemic starting and issues arising in healthcare, education, environmental policy, and so many other areas. Many of the decisions made by the UCP government have personally affected Samir and his family, like so many others. He grew up grateful for the great public education he received in Alberta, which opened so many doors in his career. And he chose to return home to raise his kids here so that they could receive the same opportunities he did. But when the new curriculum was revealed, he became concerned that education could be taken away based on ideology. His daughter caught COVID and has been dealing with chronic long COVID for almost 2 years. While they've managed having a chronically ill family member due to their resources and privileges, Samir recognized that so many others are not as fortunate. At the same time, Samir has also fully understood that our government has a responsibility to seriously tackle climate change, and our leaders will only have one shot at getting that right. He felt increasingly compelled to share his expertise and understanding on this issue. Samir had never thought of himself as having political aspirations, but after getting involved with the NDP and talking to people within the party, including Rachel Notley herself, he started to seriously consider offering his talents to the party and our province in a different way. He realized that he wanted to leave a better legacy for his kids, and one way to do this was to help solve problems our province is facing by using the insights he gained during his career of advising oil and gas companies on where to invest their money. After thinking it over and watching the same mistakes being made over and over again, and realizing that our province needs people in positions of power who are willing to take risks and stand up, Samir decided he wants to be our next MLA here in Calgary Elbow and be a part of a team that understands where we are and what we need to do to start moving in the right direction. We are very fortunate that Samir has brought his experience, talent, and will to win to Calgary Elbow. So without further ado, please welcome our candidate for Calgary Elbow, Samir Kayande.
Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge Ukraine's immense sacrifice. I still have a day job, and in that day job, one of my clients has a team in Ukraine, and so I can attach names and faces to the consequences of Putin's aggression, and I'm so scared for them. It's terrible. Thank you for that excellent introduction, Kira. I actually don't know if I recognized myself. And I'd like to thank Joe Ceci and David Shepard for being here on the day that we start winning Calgary Elbow for Rachel Notley and the Alberta NDP. And a very special thanks to my parents, who are and always have been better to me than I've been to them. And thanks to all of my supporters, whether you are with me from the beginning or came along later or are now hearing me for the first time. Even an uncontested nomination takes a team, and I'm blessed with an impressive and talented crew. And thank you as well to the Constituency Association, especially Jane and Ian, for getting everyone here and for running the business for the last 2 years. Our vision for the province and who we want to be will be defined by the clear choice that we make in the upcoming election. Is this the most important election in Alberta's history?
Pretty much.
I mean, it could be, right? And you know this. This is why you're here. And while we are all here together, united in a common cause today, I myself started this journey in loneliness. I was powerless. My job, and I was good at it, turned numbers into ideas. Ideas that created value. It paid me well. And it was a version of the Alberta advantage, if you'll let me use that term, that made it all possible. See, people consider the Alberta advantage to be synonymous with low taxes and light regulation. But that's not what made us strong. The true advantage of being Albertan is that we take care of each other. We protect the environment for future generations. And we have always been a great place to raise a family. I was born on a -43 winter day in Fort McMurray. Yeah. I grew up in Edmonton. I graduated from the University of Alberta with a degree in chemical engineering. I went to the States to get an MBA at Carnegie Mellon. At the foundation of a career advising the world's top money managers was the education system here in Alberta. What I believe is the true Alberta advantage. Think of it. Not very sociable, kind of nerdy, four-eyed child of immigrants grows up to succeed. It's a story that can happen in many places, but it happens a lot here in Alberta. It's why people move here. It's the best place in the world to raise a family. I grew up here, got educated, left, came back, like many, many people who live here. And what brought me back was a chance to repeat the cycle, that no matter what happened to me, my kids would get a world-class public education. But now, the new UCP curriculum will take that away from my kids. Cuts to universities will take that away. It's a punch right into the place where all of my privilege lives. The one thing that I care about more than anything else, which is the success of my children, is under attack. Am I being dramatic? Let's take a look at social studies. So in the new curriculum, grade 2 kids are supposed to know The 100 Years' War, Alfred the Great, Marco Polo, the Black Death, the Roman Republic, the Roman Empire, the founding of Rome, Pax Romana, the Magna Carta, William the Conqueror, Genghis Khan, Kublai Khan, Robin Hood, the Abrahamic religions, Remus and Romulus. Did I mention Rome, Rome, Rome? For context, grade 2 children are currently taught what a map is. The social studies curriculum is a deeply unserious piece of work. It's incompetent, like everything the UCP does. The new curriculum is coming, and we can't do anything. It's coming, and this government won't stop it. When I first saw these changes in 2020, I got upset. I wrote letters to my UCP MLA, because I'm in Calgary, and I knew it wouldn't do any good. Because we all know that the UCP can't be trusted. They don't listen, and they don't change. As I said, I felt lonely and powerless. And then I turned these negative emotions into action. And I started donating to the NDP, and more importantly, volunteering and sharing my thoughts. I'd never been politically active before. But there was one thing that the sham curriculum consultation told me. Only Rachel could save me. Rachel cares about Alberta families, and I trust her. We needed to change the government. So I put my effort into how I could help. And it was about a year ago that I first met face-to-face with Rachel. And after a long conversation about energy and climate change and hydrogen and tech hubs, she asked me, "Have you ever considered running for office?" And my answer was a kind of embarrassed laugh. No, I'm not a politician. But why did I think that? See, we all have a mental image of what an Albertan looks like, according to Dr. Jared Wesley, who studies this stuff at the University of Alberta. You ask anyone to draw an Albertan, and they draw a man in a cowboy hat and probably working on a ranch or on a drilling rig. Pretty much everyone draws this image, regardless of who they are. Gay or straight, white or racialized, settler or indigenous, man or woman, cis or trans, we all know what a real Albertan is supposed to be. And I don't look like that. Most of you don't look like that. And then ask people what a real Alberta politician looks like, and I bet it really doesn't look like me. So I'd never even considered the possibility this was something I could be. We have this mental idea of what a real Albertan looks like, and it remains a powerful image, but it also excludes a lot of people. We have our oil and gas, and our farms and our ranches, but we also have our solar and wind farms and film crews and teachers and so many great software businesses and healthcare workers and people like you who have all sorts of skills and talents, and you deserve a place in our story too. This is a province that belongs to everyone who built it, ordinary Albertans. And these mental images matter. The UCP doesn't help the downtown Calgary core. Is it because it's not real Alberta anymore? Jason Kenney demonizes Northeast Calgary for spreading COVID. Is that because they're not real Albertans? Albertan adults who are 100% vaccinated, I might add. The C train doesn't feel safe after dark. Is that because addiction is something real Albertans don't have? And because safe cities are something that real Albertans don't care about? When I realized I was holding myself back because of an image in my head that isn't true anymore, it wasn't hard reimagining myself representing you in Calgary Elbow, representing your real concerns as ordinary Albertans. And I hope you can imagine that future with me. What do I bring to the table? I mean, Kara did a great job, but in my own words, I'm an expert on capital, how to use money to make more money. I've been paid to provide expertise on pipelines, where to build them, how big, and whether it's worth the cost. I'm very deeply concerned about air pollution and the cost and impact pollution and international management of it will have on Alberta. I worked at a billion-dollar tech company. I'm on the board of directors of the Pembina Institute. These are all facts about me that exist on the internet. I want to spend the rest of our time here instead talking about the things you can't find in Google. My attitude, my mindset, temperament. See, there's people who think that being successful is about creating enemies and vanquishing them. In business, politics, personal relationships. We all know people like this. They make an enemy and they yell until they win. I want to be really clear, this is a bad approach for governing. A UCP government focused on finding enemies is not focused on the problems of Alberta families. Skyrocketing costs, user fees, including camping, my God, utility bills, cost of insurance, taxes that increase faster than inflation. I take a different approach. I think we're stronger when we figure out a way to work together. And because the threats facing us here in Alberta are international in scope, we need a seat at the table. I will fight for Alberta and I will fight for you, but I will pick my spots and I will not be shouting all the time. I will be a representative you can be proud of, even when you disagree with me. Where I've been successful, it's when I've talked to people, listened to what they have to say, understood the data, and then acted decisively. It's a model of collaborative action, and Rachel has that. David and Joe have that. It leads to better decisions by the government and better lives for us. The UCP considers our 2015 victory an aberration, but in Alberta political history, it is the current UCP government that's the aberration. It's they who don't reflect Alberta values of success, independence, hard work, fair dealing, honor, responsibility, tolerance, common sense. It's Alberta values that demand accountability from our leaders. And it's Alberta values that will elect an NDP government to rebuild our once successful education and healthcare systems.
Yes.
Let an NDP victory in Calgary Elbow be the next step in Alberta's return to a government that works. Use me to send a message. We are disappointed and we expect better. Use me to replace the failed UCP with a government that believes in ordinary Albertans. Use me to build an Alberta that looks forward with optimism, that sees the future and embraces it, that will be a shining light that continues to draw people from all over the world now and for generations to come, the best place in the world to raise a family. Thank you for nominating me to represent Calgary Elbow. I accept. I accept, and I'm counting on you to hold me accountable to deliver an Alberta that works for all of us. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Frank Fry. I'm here to appeal for volunteers. So I became involved in the Calgary Elbow NDP constituency because, like Samir, I was feeling lonely and isolated and frustrated by the UCP government. And to try and channel some of that energy, I joined the constituency I'm on the board of the constituency. I've been door knocking with Samir. He listens. He listens, which is not necessarily people seeking power's point of view. The other thing that I would like to point out is that, as you can tell, I'm kind of nervous a little bit that I don't speak publicly a lot, but that's because I'm an introverted, shy kind of person. But part of the appeal of volunteering and door knocking is it's amazing because some of the people you meet aren't the people you normally meet, and they're awesome. Yeah. They're funny, they have differing points of view, but it's extremely stimulating. So I would appeal to you that if you're feeling lonely and isolated or frustrated with the UCP, this is a great opportunity to channel that energy into a positive change. Thank you.
It's my turn. Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Cece. I am so thrilled. Yeah. I am so thrilled to be here, and the speeches have been Samir's and Kira's, and Jane's and David's, and everyone's has been tremendous. It's been a pleasure to listen to you all, and it's been a pleasure to meet you all tonight. Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be here. I said that, didn't I? Today it's exciting because after this meeting, right now, Samir Kayande is our nominated candidate for Calgary Elbow. We are so lucky. We are so lucky to have someone of Samir's caliber among us. And I won't go into all of his accomplishments. You did a great job doing all of that. But three of his accomplishments will tell you about him as an individual, and you've heard some of that already. He had a 25-year career where he's worked in oil and gas, financial services, and software. Samir is now an independent consultant on corporate strategy and energy economics. He is an expert in pipeline transportation of oil and gas. And most importantly, Samir believes and is someone who believes in the power of education, the benefits of hard work, and that our society should work for everyone in society. As everyone knows, this seat in Calgary Elbow is critical for us in Alberta's NDP in the next election. Calgary, many seats in Calgary are critical for us, and we are going to work so hard to get them all. We will defeat Jason Kenney in 2023 with the help of you all out there, and you did a great pitch for volunteers, Frank. Thanks. Now remember that I said Samir likes hard work. Well, Samir has hit the ground running already, and he has been really busy working towards this nomination today. As New Democrats, we all know that it's going to take all of us to win in 2023. That's why I'm delighted to recognize the following people who have generously donated to Samir Kayande's election campaign, and they are Trevor Sloan with $4,200. Thank you, Trevor. David Howard with $4,200. JJ Kayande with $2,023. Thank you very much. Richard Daniel with $2,000. Emma May with $1,000. Javan Kayande, somebody over here, with $500. I could put another $500 on that if you want, but it's $500 right now. Susan Wright, $200. John Hallett, $200. Jody Miller, $100. Robert Furneaux, $25. Thank you again to all of those people whose names I've just read out. Now, all of you here today know that elections cost money. For everyone who is joining on Zoom and Facebook, I want you to note that there is a link in the chat function. There, you put this gentleman over here, put it in the chat function. There's a link where you can donate to Samir Kayande's Calgary Elbow campaign right now. Please do that. Please do that. You know, for everybody who does a donation, and for those folks who I've mentioned earlier today, when you donate, your 2022 taxes will be able to be credited with, and I'll tell you right now, it's a magnificent tax credit. If you donate $500, you'll get a $300 tax credit. If you donate $1,000, you'll get a $550 tax credit when you do your taxes next year. Thank you very much. Those are great donations. Every donation can and will make a difference. For example, a donation of $5 helps us buy a sign. Not these signs. Hold those up. It's going to be bigger than that sign. That sign maybe cost you $1, but we're going to get $5 donation. $5 donation will get you a sign. We're going to paint Calgary Elbow orange. We will need many, many, many signs that cost $5 each. But he's going to get more than $5 signs on lawns. He's going to get billboards on lawns. He's going to get large, not on lawns, sorry. Hopefully he'll get 1 or 2 or 3 billboards throughout the riding. And he's going to get many, many large signs. Those cost a lot more than $5. And obviously there's going to be pieces of literature that go out before, during the campaign, and he'll need volunteers to have all sorts of support. We need you to get involved with a donation tonight or a donation later. Please help out Calgary Elbow. So let's get Samir elected. Let's get some money coming in through the donations link, and let's get this government of Rachel Notley elected. We're going to flip Calgary Elbow and many other places throughout the city and throughout the province so that we can be your government, your next government in 2023. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Come on up. I'm going to put my mask up. Here, we'll just take a quick picture. David, get up here. Right. Excellent. This is your next MLA for Calgary Elbow, Samir Kayande. All right, I'm off. All right.
So before we wrap up, I just think there's some thanks that are in order. Thanks to all of you who on a beautiful spring, winter, whatever it is out there, Saturday afternoon, made the time to be here. Those of you who are online, thank you for taking the time. To our speakers, our board members, thank you, Dave, Joe, for the work that you do, for being here on a weekend, very much appreciated. And most of all, thank you, Samir. It's a bit of a day for celebration. It is not every day that somebody of your caliber offers their service to the public. You could stay in private as a private citizen and benefit yourself. You've chosen to do more than that. And I think for that we are grateful. Yes. Yeah. I will say, from having known previous MLAs in our riding, this riding has had good people as MLAs in the past. Yes. And I very much personally look forward to having one again. So thank you. Yeah. So thanks. And with that, our meeting is adjourned. Woo! Thanks for being here.
Watching. Alberta's NDP is working hard to build Alberta's future and to build a future that involves all Albertans. The momentum is building. If you want to be part of it, join us at albertasndp.ca.